Hi, my name is Mark Adams, and welcome to the Private Label Report. This is a podcast where I invite you into my office and we talk about all things Amazon Private Label. Pull up a chair. Let's get started. Hi, I want to welcome you to today's video and podcast. We're going to talk about predictions for Amazon for 2017. For those of you who are regular viewers, watchers of the show, you'll notice obviously I'm not in my office right now with the usual background. I'm actually in my place in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I actually come here quite a bit and do a lot of work as well as also enjoy a lot of time off and enjoy the beach behind me. But it's kind of nice to be able to walk out and wake up to the ocean and that type of thing and see that. But you know, the lifestyle I've had for a while has been pretty good. But anyway, I'm here for a few weeks now, all the way up through from when I just got back from China and we took buyers to the Canton Fair. And I'm here all the way up through Thanksgiving. But just wanted to record a couple podcasts and things while I'm here. As I'm here, I've just been thinking, you know, I've really been thinking about predictions, I guess, going into 2017. I've been reviewing 2016 in my mind, what all's changed with Amazon, with things changing in the reviews, all other types of things that have been positive that have come into the business. But I really sat down and was thinking, okay, where do we go for 2017? Is this still a good and viable business? Is this something that's going to have drastic changes going forward? And I really sat here and started just thinking that, yeah, I really think this is still a good and growing business, and it's going to continue to grow from 2017 and beyond. But as I was sitting out on the beach the other day, I actually wrote down a list of things in my phone, typed it in, I guess, of some predictions that I think are going to happen in 2017. And there is in no particular order, but things that I think if you spend some time at this time of the year anyway, thinking about your business, reviewing what's happened, I think you're going to be able to have a better year going forward. So whether you're already an existing seller or either you plan on launching a business, I think these are just a couple things to think through getting started. So let me look down and read these. These are in no particular order, but just some things that I think are worthwhile. I think you're going to see more things with Amazon and promotions. Lightning deals and things have become a very big and popular thing if you're an existing Amazon seller. I think they're going to come up with other ways for you to promote the business. What that is, I don't know, but lightning deals seem to make them money, and of course, obviously, anything that makes Amazon money are things that are going to be expanded and used and spread throughout the private label market. So I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think you've seen the concept of brands get gated from Amazon. And some of the bigger brands are going through that now, and many people don't realize that those programs are available to almost all sellers. And really it's just an application process that you go through. And I think that's going to become more of an important thing, because it's going to help you protect your brand from other types of people trying to sell your product. I think that can only be a good thing. I think ultimately brand gating is going to become what most people think registering your brand is going to be. So I would encourage you to look into that and consider doing something like that now, because ultimately I think they're going to charge for that. So the sooner you can get your brand gated, I think the more you're going to benefit from that. And I'll probably do a whole other episode going forward on brand gating, but I think that's something to be aware of, and it's going to change going forward. I think you're going to see more and more people expand into other Amazon countries. I've been talking for a while now, and even put out a course on the concept of if you sell in the United States, your products are probably going to work in Europe. I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to expand. You've already got your pictures, you already have your copy, you've run some tests, you know what works with certain keywords. I think you should be able to expand into Europe, or if you're in Europe, be able to sell in the United States. I think that's coming, and that's probably the easiest wave of expansion coming in 2017. I think too, the Australian market has just announced they're going to open up. So I think for our friends who live in Australia, that's going to be a tremendous opportunity for them. But also I think for many other people, so whether you sell in Europe or the United States, again, there's no reason you can't sell there. One of the things to think about in selling Australia is if you're having your products made in China, the shipping's not going to be as much because they're not coming as far to the United States, and it's also going to come much faster. So I think we're going to see tremendous growth and explosion, I guess, in the Australian market. I think you're going to continue to see technology have an impact on those of us who are sellers. If you look back at things like Jungle Scout, Cash Cow Pro, Sales Backer, things like that, the really good softwares that are out there, they've enabled us to most people to better technically manage your business. And I think with things like that, people are also going to learn the second part of the equation, things I've been talking about in all of my seminars and different things, is that finding products and getting it listed and getting sales is really the first part of the equation. The next part is really managing your business, manage your inventory. And that's a lot about what I talk about with some of my advanced groups, advanced coaching and things like that. But tremendous sums of money you can make by more effectively managing your business. And I think as this business continues to mature, software is going to be written to make that even easier than what it is right now. I think you're going to see a large impact of brands continuing to mature. I'm actually working with some website selling people now who sell e-commerce sites, because I'm getting a tremendous amount of requests from people who want to buy sites, or not sites, but Amazon brands and Amazon sellers who are interested in selling, which is a natural progression of any part of an emerging market. So I think you're going to see things, just some numbers that always, when we talk about that, people always want to say, well, what is my business worth? Well, the real answer, obviously, of course, is what somebody will pay. But if you have a growing business and you have a track record and things are going in the right direction and you can verify your sales, and there's a whole list of things that we'll again talk about in a separate episode coming up. But you might want to look at things, the market rate, if you will, is somewhere around 2.5 times your annual earnings, which is the equivalent of 30 times your average monthly sales, and plus your inventory. And that's, of course, if things are going well. So, you know, in that case, if you have a business that's generating $100,000, in theory, that business is worth another $250,000 as well. So, you know, some of the theories of being able to start a business and get it up and running and then sell it, I don't see any reason, or I see no reason why somebody can't do that on a repeated basis. But I get excited when I think about that. I've actually sold 6 different businesses, and the payday when you have a sold business, that's really kind of nice. It's actually funny. I was doing a webinar the other day, and somebody typed in and says, "Well, what is it like taking that big check to the bank?" And you're sitting there, you hand that check to the bank, and the teller looks at it. You always smile and say, "I won it on a game show." And they don't know if you're messing with them or not, but it's still kind of fun to think through. I think you're going to see sellers start to expand on platforms beyond Amazon. Not only Amazon in different countries, but I think places like Jet.com. And for those of you who are not aware, Walmart has just bought Jet. Jet is a site that's similar to Amazon, but obviously much smaller. I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of growth there. And I think for sellers who kind of carve out digital real estate on that site now, I think that's just going to be a tremendous benefit going forward. So I think too, you're going to see sellers start to build their own Shopify or e-commerce sites, because we've all seen changes in Amazon. We have to be prepared for some changes that we can't anticipate. And the more of our business is diversified on places like Jet or either our own e-commerce sites, I think that's something that we have to consider, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as an industry shift. I know I'm going to put out some content. I mean, I've been selling e-commerce in addition to Amazon from as far back as 1999. So I've been doing this a long, long time, done a lot of business doing that. So I'm shifting more and more of my business in that direction just to simply diversify. So I'm going to come out with some content on that probably early part of the year. I think as Amazon sellers, we're going to get better at marketing. I think too, one of the things I'm coming out with is I'm doing a lot of testing right now is basically Facebook ads for physical products. And that's one of those things, if you can, quote, break the code and figure out how to do that, if you can put in $1 and get $1.20 back, get $2 back, whatever that happens to be, you can drive as much traffic to either your website or your own e-commerce website or to your Amazon pages and create as much money as you want, depending on how well you are at running your ads. So that's another part of the, you know, like I said, I got a lot of stuff coming out in the beginning of the year, and I've just been going through this transition, and Amazon is still the core part of my business, but I think it's time for all of us to diversify and look at other ways to develop our business through e-commerce other than to solely depend on Amazon. I think too, you're going to start to see a lot of people develop videos and YouTube channels. And I don't know why more and more sellers don't do demonstration products or actually have YouTube channels for their brands and their products. And if you can do something like that, gosh, what an incredibly inexpensive way to market your product and a good way to obviously generate your sales. So I think you're going to see people be able to do that affordably and easy going forward. One of the things from a payment standpoint, I know I always have people write something about payment of Chinese suppliers. They're concerned about sending transfers or wire transfers, things like that. I've been using an app lately. It's called Venmo, which is actually owned by PayPal, but it's a way to pay individuals much like you would pay a business. And it's United States only right now, but you have to assume in the not too distant future that's going to be worldwide. There are other apps and things out there called TransferWise that it's really kind of a nice, I don't want to go into all the technology of it, but let's just say you're transferring, I don't know, say $2,000. You really are not transferring it because they have money and you're paying the company's taking it out of Chinese money, so there's really no exchange. Really what you're doing is simply paying the fee. So instead of paying the $40 transfer fee plus your exchange fees, maybe you're only paying a $15 fee. So some of the fees that, if you do a lot of business, can be rather expensive. I think that's headed in the right direction for those as an Amazon seller. So as I look at all these things and I think through this and I wonder where, every year at this time I go back and I review my business and I think what's worked well, what hasn't gone well, what can I do differently, what can I do to get ahead of the curve going forward for the following year. And I ask him, man, that one, first, am I in the right place? And can I get ahead of all of these things? And as I've sit here in between margaritas and whatnot and beer sitting there drinking on the beach, enjoying the time and rewards of having a good year, I'm sitting here thinking this is still a really, really good place to be. If you've already started, there are so many ways I think you can grow and expand your business. If you're just starting out, I can still think of no better place to be. I probably have talked to over 300 plus people I've coached in the past, year, 18 months or so, 2 years, whatever it's been. And I just see the optimism. I still see the possibilities of being able to go in this, because Amazon is still a long way from being saturated. And every time I start to even think that for a second, I'll talk to one of my coaching students and they'll show me a product or an idea they've come up with that I sit here and I think I would have never thought of that in a million years. So there are still thousands and thousands and thousands of markets left. Amazon is still a good place to be. E-commerce is still exploding and growing every single day. I read a number the other day that said 1 in 10 purchases is now made online in the United States. And it said it would, by the year 2020, it would be 2 in 10. So there's only more and more people coming into this every day. There's only more and more people who are buying more every day. So anyway, I just wanted to put a couple things together. I'm enjoying life at the beach, but can't seem to turn the gears off and working a little bit. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I'll probably do a couple more of these at the beach, but don't know about the sound or the lighting or all that kind of stuff. So please forgive me if all that's not perfect. But regardless, I'm having a good time at the beach, but still thinking about you and looking forward to a good year in 2017. Thanks for being here.